You are operating on a standard consumer track, excluded from an invisible banking tier designed to bypass the traditional system. In the retail arena, consumers pay banks interest for the privilege of debt. For the elite, major institutions establish isolated divisions known as private banking. While entry-level tiers in developing markets start at $250,000, top-tier global institutions like JP Morgan require a $10 million baseline to activate their full operational capabilities. Consolidating these liquidity blocks unlocks preferential treatment, rock-bottom borrowing terms, near-unlimited credit facilities, and over-the-counter access to pre-IPO stock placements long before they reach public exchanges. Once a family fortune clears the $100 million threshold, simple spreadsheet tracking becomes obsolete. The elite construct a family office, a bespoke corporation that hires M&A lawyers and senior investment bankers to manage the family ledger like an institutional fund. Extreme wealth is built by migrating capital out of regular accounts and into a completely isolated institutional infrastructure engineered for preservation. To compress their tax liabilities, family offices construct a matrix of offshore shell entities across regulatory havens like the British Virgin Islands or Belize. The mechanism relies on intellectual property. The family office registers a high-value patent or trademark inside the offshore holding company, then requires their domestic operating business to pay licensing fees to use it. This loop migrates cash margins out of high-tax jurisdictions and into tax-exempt international vaults, where the capital is deployed as corporate operational expenditures. Elite operators treat national borders as strategic variables to erase corporate tax burdens. Standard index trackers are designed to provide average returns to the public. The top 10% bypass these bundled funds in favor of personalized indexing engines. This is direct indexing. Instead of a single ETF share, the investor acquires individual equities in the index. The system automatically harvests micro-losses daily, converting market dips into tax credits. These harvested losses offset active personal income taxes, while the portfolio remains fully invested. Concurrently, the office applies option collars to single stock positions, transforming equity volatility into a predictable revenue stream. While retail investors see market downturns as a threat, elite architecture uses them to generate systemic tax refunds. The fundamental rule of billionaire capital is simple: acquire appreciating finite assets and never sell. To extract cash without selling, they secure a securities-based line of credit. The bank provides liquidity as a loan, while the asset remains locked. Since this is a loan, proceeds are tax-free, funding lifestyle or buying a second asset while the original compounds. Upon the holder's death, the tax code applies a step-up in basis. This resets the asset's cost basis to current market value, erasing decades of accumulated capital gains taxes for the heirs. By weaponizing debt, the elite consume their wealth infinitely without ever triggering a taxable event. Advanced tax shielding is a secondary concern if your current balance sheet commands zero liquid capital. If you are starting from zero, the primary asset you command is the volume of your uncompensated hours. Success at this stage requires trading those hours to master high-income skills, like elite performance marketing or algorithmic workflow integration, rather than chasing short-term market trends. You funnel that active income directly into building scalable digital assets or low-cost index funds. Your directive is to construct a digitized machine that prints cash flow independent of your presence, effectively buying back your time from the open market. To execute these frameworks, the elite purchase absolute information superiority via the Bloomberg Terminal. While retail investors rely on delayed public feeds, professional traders pay $32,000 a year for real-time news and an exclusive chat network linking every major desk on Wall Street. Subscribe right now and turn on notifications to lock in your position on the grid. If you're ready to stop trend chasing and start building, type the word PRO in the comments. Adopting the cold structural calculus of the top 1% is the only path to achieving permanent financial control.